In the meantime, some southern chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, have said that power should shift to the region in 2023 for the sake of equity and fairness. They noted that even though zoning is not expressly stated in the Constitution, it has become inevitable for peace and justice to reign in the country. Well, this comes amidst open debate between northern and southern governors over the region that should produce the next president when President Muhammadu Buhari completes his second tenure in 2023. Well, some say zoning of the presidency was a settled matter and does not require fresh negotiations. Let's bring in our Right News analyst, Abiodun Adeniyi. Well, he joins me now. Let's discuss this issue. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, I want to actually start with Raymond Okwesi, who is saying that the PDP, if it presents a candidate from the southeast, would actually lose come 2023. That a southeast candidate might not be able to give them...
No, I don't think he's saying it within that context, in my own opinion, and from my own understanding of what he's saying. I think what he has is saying is also just... stating what we already know, that no one particular section of the country can probably produce the president alone. And this is already implied in the Constitution, where it is said that you have to win with 2/3 majority, except in the case of a runoff, where a simple majority will now be the determiner. So overall, we're looking at a president, that will emerge from on the consensus ground, where we have the generality of Nigerians voting for him, instead of us saying that only one area or one region, should produce the president, as the case could be. No way. What Chief is saying is that yes, it is okay if we have a president of a certain regional extraction, but that person should be identified with the generality of the Nigerian citizens, and that's the point we've been making over from the beginning. And if we take it further from what Emir Sanusi has been saying as well, that yes, we've been having agitations that the North should produce the president, the South should produce the president, but are we really concerned about who we want to identify within this region? And we can also extend the Emir's argument by saying that beyond just looking at who we want to identify, can't we imagine us having a national hero, somebody who will be acceptable from across board, irrespective of his region? Isn't it time we begin to look at that person, irrespective of the region the person is coming from? So what Chief is saying is probably what politicians have been saying before now, that yes, no one single region can do it alone. And that is to say that any region that wants to do it alone needs to carry the support, needs to have the support of the other region. And that's taken for granted. Really. Right. We're talking about the president of Nigeria, not the president of any particular region.
Absolutely. Yes. And of course, the southern governors, when they came up with that communique and used the word must, they were actually knocked for using that word. But Raymond Okwesi is one man. Yeah. Let's go beyond him and talk about some chieftain of the All Progressives Congress who are now saying that the power should actually shift to the south for equity and fairness.
Well, but I think we need to start elevating this argument. We know that oftentimes we subscribe to these cleavages, these fault lines on who governs us and all of that. But it's becoming really sickening. When we keep talking about zoning, it has to come from a particular area. We agree that we are still in the process of we are still struggling with homogenization, but in also trying to resolve it, we shouldn't play up our differences, our divides. I agree that politicians can talk about it, but there are ways in which they can be silent about it so that we can have the best at the end of the day. But because in the circumstance, nobody is talking about merit, nobody is talking about competence, capacity, or we're just talking about region, zone, who should produce the president. At the end of the day, we're going to have, if we're not careful, we're just going to have people who are probably incompetent, like the Emir said again, and who are incompetent, but of course, at the end of this, it's going to be a fait accompli. We now have to wait for another 4 years, another 8 years probably, and continue the hope. So why don't we change the narrative, around merit, around capacity and competence? But if the politicians are talking about zoning, those of us who are apolitical, so to say, we shouldn't also be parroting it after them. We should be trying to change the narrative towards merit and competence.
But for the sake of equity and fairness, especially also looking at, the situation of the country, we're seeing a lot of tension and the call for cessation due to some regions feeling like they've been marginalized. So what you're saying is we shouldn't be thinking about zoning, but we should look at a competent person. But what about the issue of fairness and how, we have other regions.
That's a long
produce a president.
That's a long drawn debate. It's an old debate that can be resolved through not just political positioning, but through other appointments as well, but maybe the blame will go again to the leaders we have had in recent past, who have directly or indirectly been reminding us of how different we are, so those things are really aggravated, have really frayed nerves, and it's resulting into this increased agitation. But it is not late in the day for us to remedy this situation. But in trying to remedy it, we shouldn't deepen, we shouldn't increase the tension, ahead of a major election in 2023. Because I'm trying to do so, of course, we know how it might lead us, and that's not where we want to be.
Right, and of course, no matter how you feel indifferent about zoning and how you feel like since it's not enshrined in the Constitution, it shouldn't be a focus. But like it or not, come before the 2023 election, this is the conversations we'll keep having. But while we're still on the subject matter of Southern candidates, well, let's look at those who've already actually thrown their hats in the ring of some way or another. I know that Kingsley Moghalu, during the course of the week, actually indicated that he might want to vie for that office again. And of course, we do know that Bola Tinubu is back in the country, and some say that we might see him declare in a matter of days. And of course, let's not forget former President Goodluck Jonathan. There's been a lot of talk about him. But all of these people, what should we be looking at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, we're talking about capacity, competence. We should. This is the time where we should be looking away from, political ability, or maybe war chests, or maybe the influence of a particular politician. Capacity matters. We are where we are now because we're privileged. Incapacity over capacity. We'll be much more concerned about. We'll be much more respectful about personality rather than the ability to deliver, But now perhaps we could just conduct a simple test for whoever wants to be president of Nigeria. Let them come for a debate, and that debate should be scored. And whoever does well at that debate, should be asked to proceed for that election. We do not want the presidents who cannot debate, who cannot appear before Nigerians and discuss the Nigerian condition live. That should be probably, a condition really. That's simple. It looks very simple, but it can work for us if we're looking for capacity. Show us what you want to do, and if we are able to also galvanize citizens around these arrangements where there'll be a way we can score them on the basis of their pronouncement, their promises, the potentials, and all of that. I think it will help us better, rather than pandering to how prestigious a certain candidate is, or how wealthy he is, or his pedigree, whether he has been governor before, whether he has been minister before, and all those things. Perhaps it's time we look away from that. 2023 is another opportunity for us to make a restart. I think we should also try and get it right.
Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi, Arise News analyst, thank you so much for joining me tonight on the program.